Hey, welcome back everyone. My name is Trap. We're going to go over a couple things here that are TMUX related tonight. I'm going to demonstrate ways that you can boost your productivity using TMUX and Vim or Neovim, whatever your preference is. Most of my demonstration will be done using Neovim, but I will also toward the end, I will show you that the setup does work with Vim itself. What I'm expecting to happen when I have my environment set up is I'm expecting to be able to use ctrl-h, j, k, and l to navigate between any TMUX splits. When I'm running Vim or Neovim and I have a split open, I will also use ctrl-j, k, h, and l to move between those splits as well. So from my workflow standpoint, I don't care if I'm in TMUX, I'm in Vim or Neovim. I just simply use ctrl-h, j, k, and l, and I navigate to the desired target. So you see tonight I do have lazy. I do have alpha loaded. I also have which key up right now, so my startup times are a little bit slower. I'm playing around with some other things right now, so I'm okay with these startup times. They're still really fast, so I'm happy with that. But if I do my, we'll go into a file. We'll just take a look at my navigation files, and we can see my YouTube markers in there, which is what I wanted you to see. So in this particular plugin, all we're doing is we're using Chris Tomey's Vim tmux-navigator, and I load that whenever I go into a buffer. And I also make sure that the TMUX runner bundle is loaded when I go into a buffer. The startup time for these isn't really bad. If we take a look at Lazy Vim and we check the times on the startup, we're going to see that if we look for TMUX in here, we're going to see that the navigator and the runner, they load really fast. So I'm going ahead and using the runner in particular on Lazy. I'm not trying to do events right now on it, but it's actually loading pretty quickly. So I'm very happy with what I'm seeing there. So if we get out of this window, so they hit the right window, you can see that there's really no customization. It's simply just including the plugin itself. And like I said, on the Trap Vim TMUX runner, the only thing I'm doing there is telling the runner when I create a split, I want it to be 50% of the screen. So I tell it I want a horizontal split and I want 50%, and that's it. That's the only thing I'm doing with my plugin. So the first thing I do is I look at my root directory, and I'm going to show you that currently there is not a symbolic link .tmux or .tmux-conf listed in my root directory or in my login directory. We're just going to run this script and watch it run. It doesn't take very long at all. So you saw it just deleted the symbolic links. It cloned the first repository. It's cloning the second repository. And you see the plugins that I'm loading are being listed on my screen. The one that we really care about for this video is the navigator. That's the one that really makes this possible. So first thing I'm going to do is use one of my aliases to create a TMUX split. And you're going to see that I have a nice split going on here. I'm going to think about XY. This is what TMUX calls a horizontal split. If I wanted a vertical split, it's going to be something that's occurring on the Y-axis. So I can now navigate back and forth between these splits. And if I want to get to start over and do a quadrant, now I've got four splits up and running, and I can navigate the same way up and around those windows pretty quickly. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'll kill the whole session. I got rid of all the TMUX stuff. We'll go back to the beginning and we'll look at the LAS again, and you're going to see that the TMUX aliases, symbolic links are there now. So I'm going to remove them. So that's just tmux-conf and .tmux. TMUX, and then we're going to remove get tmux-rf. So now we got rid of my plugins. We just everything I downloaded is now gone. So if you run that same command again, which was the set up a split, you see that I've got a TMUX up and running, but I've got that default TMUX green color at the bottom, or lime green, whatever that color is. But more importantly, when I do my ctrl-h and ctrl-l, h and l, it's not moving. It just stays within the window. If I do another split and I try to move, it doesn't move, but I have to do the ctrl-b and arrow key to make it. That's the normal TMUX way of doing things. So if I start over and kill h, and I start that over, I'm just going to rerun the installation script again. I'm going to reinstall the software. So I do this all the time. I'm confident that it will work. So you're going to see that same 2 symbolic links being deleted. I'm recloning the repositories. There's 2 repositories that are cloned. And then we do the TMUX plugins, which is in the TMUX plugin directory. So I'm going to show you that real quick. So if we go to my Get TMUX directory, and we just bring up Ranger really quick, what we're going to see is in the plugins folder, there's a copycat, TMUX Yank, TPM, and TMUX plugin Navigator. It's the plugin Navigator that's allowing me to navigate the way you saw me navigating. So now what we're going to do, this is going to get a little interesting for just a moment. We're going to hop into my LSP directory, which is where I have a lot of test code, and we're just going to open up 2 files. So we'll do Neovim first, and we'll do test.c, and we'll do test.cpp, and we'll tell Neovim to split that for us. So now we have a nice little split, but notice I'm going to use that ctrl-h and ctrl-l to move. So I'm moving within Neovim. I'm going to move over to the TMUX split on the left by using ctrl-h. And now I'm in TMUX, so I'm TMUX over here. So if we go into the LSP directory again, and we do a vim, and we're going to look for, there's probably a test.lua and a test.python. And this time we're going to split on the horizontal, normal vim split. So now we're in vim, and we've got the same capability. We're doing up and down with the keys. Now notice I'm doing this kind of fast, but I'm going to tell you I'm doing a ctrl-j. I'm going to do a ctrl-j. It's going to go out of vim split, out of TMUX, and into vim. I'm sorry, into TMUX. And I landed exactly where I expected to be. So if I do a ctrl-l, I'm where I expected to be on the lower quadrant. Now, let's go back to that Lua directory, that LSP directory, and this time we'll do vim, and we'll go for test. Let's see what we have. How about Haskell and test.json? So we have a couple more files, and to make the screen look somewhat crazy, we'll do another split. So now at the bottom, we have vim. At the top quadrant, we have Neovim. I'm going to navigate using ctrl-h to the lower quadrant. I'm going to go back to the LSP directory, and we'll do a neovim test. We'll grab 2 more files. Let's grab the Go one, and we're going to grab test.java. These files are not important right now. We'll be talking about those in a little bit later. Okay, so now look at my screen. Take a moment to see what I have. I have a vim setup. I have TMUX up and running. So I have one window, and that window has 4 splits in it. Okay, and so in those 4 splits, in the upper quadrant, in the northeast quadrant, I have vim with a split, 2 files on a split. In the right upper quadrant, or the northeast quadrant, I have Neovim with 2 files with a vertical split. And below that, you can see in the southeast quadrant, I have vim with a split. In the southwest quadrant, I have Neovim. Okay, so I know it's confusing, but watch the navigation as I do this. I am simply going to use that Ctrl-H, J, and Cal and move around, and I don't have to think about, am I in Neovim? Am I in vim? Am I in TMUX? I simply hold the key and I just move around as fast as I can type it, okay? So it's really been very productive for me to use this, and this behavior is not limited to TMUX. So if I close these windows, as I close them up and I close out of Neovim, I'm closing out of my Vim and Neovim sessions, and eventually I will close out of TMUX. If I can spell it, okay, now we're right back to a bash shell, and we'll go into Neovim with test.c and test.cpp, and we'll tell it to do the split for us. And okay, I typed in the file names wrong, but you get the idea. We're navigating, but I'm going to prove that again by getting out of this, and we'll go back into that LSP directory, and we'll just do it correctly this time. And now you can see I have 2 files up, and I'm doing the navigation back and forth using that ctrl-h and ctrl-k. So the environment works whether I'm using TMUX or not. And so the beauty of these 2 plugins is that the TMUX navigators that Chris Thome has written, they've been around for a while. They allow you to do that seamless integration regardless of the environment. So if we hop out of this, I've already shown you it was working, Vim was working from within TMUX, but now we're just going to do it again with from the command line. So we can see my environment looks completely different, but I'm still doing that same navigation. So if I do a split in here, you know, I'm navigating again as fast as I want to, just because those the way those plugins work, and the default bindings for those plugins are ctrl-h, j, k, and l. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to use this environment to actually execute programs. And I'm going to be using different programming languages when I do this. So I'm hoping that from that you're going to see that this is an extremely powerful way to actually develop software. So we're just going to start by starting TMUX. No surprise here. And then we'll go into Neovim. No surprise there. Going to my wiki page. This might be a surprise. I'm actually going to run code from my wiki page, but I'm going to explain that why I'm doing it this way. So I've already done the navigation demonstration. The code that we're going to run is, I've got 11 different programming languages. No, we're not going to look at all of them, but I have 11 different programming languages that I've done this demonstration in. Each one of them is going to do a shout out to Brian Kernighan, which is your basic hello world program, Fibonacci sequence using recursion. I realize that a Fibonacci sequence done with recursion is not the most efficient way to do Fibonacci. But what I am doing is in subsequent videos, I'm going to be doing some debugging examples, and I wanted to have something that was recursion and debugging, so that made sense to do it this way for me. My environment is up and running. I've split the screen using what's on line 53, which is the open runner command. So at this point, anytime I run a command, on the left split, the target is the right split. So as an example, I'm going to do a send command, and I'm going to type what you see on line 62, and I'll explain why I'm doing that. But I'm going to do a cd to get /YouTube, and I'm going to do a clear command. So when I do that command, if I go over and I can navigate, I'm navigating using that ctrl-l. I do an ls-la, and I'm going to see, okay, there's some files there. What do you do? Hop back over to this window and I do a leader SC, I just cleared the screen. Now the reason I do this for this particular demonstration is I might be somewhere that's way off base for what I need to do. The quickest way for me to get back there is do that send command. Okay, so I get, in normal context, that send command would run a program, but right now I found that with doing all these different languages, if one of the languages fails, I may not be in this directory, so I just put that send command in to show you what it's going to look like. I explained that I used the command that's on line 62, and I seeded that with running the command that's on line 57, which is the send command to runner. So if we do the leader SC, it clears the screen really quick. We can prove that to ourselves by doing an ls and hop back over to the main page. I'm sorry, go back to my index page and do a leader SC. We cleared the screen because we ran the command that was on line 62. That's what's it's in my command buffer right now to run. I'm going to run what's on line 66, and I'm going to do that by using the command that's on line 59, which is the VTR lines to runner, and that is the leader key for that is leader SL for me. So leader SL, boom, it just ran the 35th sequence in a Fibonacci sequence using recursion in the C programming language. It ran it pretty quick. So now let's just hop down, and we're going to run the same thing in Java just to see what it's like, just to do it. And so we do a leader SL. So we just ran that to Java. We see that the Java is a little bit slower. That's okay. I've got some optimization turned on in some places. In any case, you can see it ran pretty quickly, and I've got this done. So normally I would not be writing code, if you will, from a wiki page. I'm showing that you can do it So for example, if I were doing documentation and my documentation, I wanted to make sure the command worked, this is a really good way to be modifying a wiki page or a markdown page using ASCII doc, whatever you're using, and executing the command to make sure your command actually does work. Now we're going to take a look at what it's like to use this environment when you're using the actual target programming language. So for this part of the demonstration, I'll use the CPP file. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a couple changes to the runner. So we're going to open up the runner again. The runner is now open, and I'm going to do a send command, and I'm going to tell it to do a cd into the LSP directory, and I will then tell it that to and that with g++ test.cpp, and then we're going to and that with running the program, which is a.out, but we're going to time it, so we'll put the time command in there, and then we're going to back up when we're done. So when we're done, we're going to do a cd ... Now the reason I'm doing this is because I'm actually up one level from where the file is, but I actually want to run it, and I want to see, okay, great, it worked, okay. So we see it ran, and we're going to make just a nonsensical code change. So we're going to change the 35, we're going to change that to a 30, save, and we're going to save the file and send the command. Okay, and we just saw it reran. So pretty cool. And if I wanted to make that clear screen all the time, then what I do is I just do a flush command and send command, and by doing that I still have command history, so I can go back and I can, you know, navigate around inside this input box and do a clear and boom, there it goes. So now it's always going to start at the top with a shout out to Brian Kernighan, and down it's going to fit on the screen for me very nicely. So if I want to do something else that's absolutely ridiculous, is I can take this and just copy it a couple of times, write the file, send the command, and boom, it's that quick. Now we're going to take a look at what it's like to use this environment when you're using the actual target programming language. So for this part of the demonstration, I'll use the CPP file. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a couple changes to the runner. So we're going to open up the runner again. The runner is now open, and I'm going to do a send command, and I'm going to tell it to do a cd into the LSP directory, and I will then tell it that to and that with g++ test.cpp, and then we're going to and that with running the program, which is a.out, but we're going to time it, so we'll put the time command in there, and then we're going to back up when we're done. So when we're done, we're going to do a cd ... Now the reason I'm doing this is because I'm actually up one level from where the file is, but I actually want to run it, and I want to see, okay, great, it worked, okay. So we see it ran, and we're going to make just a nonsensical code change. So we're going to change the 35, we're going to change that to a 30, save, and we're going to save the file and send the command. Okay, and we just saw it reran. So pretty cool. And if I wanted to make that clear screen all the time, then what I do is I just do a flush command and send command, and by doing that I still have command history, so I can go back and I can, you know, navigate around inside this input box and do a clear and boom, there it goes. So now it's always going to start at the top with a shout out to Brian Kernighan, and down it's going to fit on the screen for me very nicely. So if I want to do something else that's absolutely ridiculous, is I can take this and just copy it a couple of times, write the file, send the command, and boom, it's that quick. During this last part of the video, you see that I have TMUX running with C and C++ in a Vim window. So I have a split, and then on the right side of the screen I have the runner already open. So what I do is a flush command, and then I'm going to do a send command, and I'm going to use my up arrow keys and navigate around to show you the command at the bottom of the window we're going to run. So we'll do the clear screen, we'll cd into the LSP directory, we will compile the C code, we will time the C code, and we'll back up one directory, and away we go. So now that I'm in that file, I can go in and make changes as I want to. And these are nonsensical, but we'll do it anyway. So we're just going to write the file and send the command, and now we see the shout out to Brian Kernighan twice in the code. Delete it, write it, and send it, and we're back to one. That was with the C code. I hop down a window, and I do a flush command. And so I do a flush command, and then I go send command, and I'm going to change the name of the file. So I'm going to do the cpp file and run this command. So you notice on the screen it tells you the recursion was done in C++. So a similar example, if we go down a few lines and we do the find on the 5, we change that to a 7, we save the file, and we do a send, we see that it works. So imagine again that you're using, whether it's Vim or Neovim, and you're making code changes and you want to quickly send them to a terminal and look at the output. This is what this example does. So I've proven to you that you can use TMUX, Vim, or Neovim, and Chris Tomey's TMUX Runner and tmux-navigator to get a very productive environment for yourself. I know this was a long video, so I appreciated that you stuck it out to the end. Give me some feedback, give me some comments, help me to improve what I'm doing. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Trap. May God bless you.